Details are being released tonight about the death of actress Heche. The coroner's office revealing tonight that she was not impaired with any illicit substances when she crashed her Mini Cooper into a Mar Vista home in August.
Anxious or that quick moving that was going on the other side of the vehicle. Oh my gosh, he's completely alive. He was trying to get away.
And I told Ellen that I needed to have friends. She said she did not want to have a girlfriend that needed that. And that is the day I left. I think she tried to put me in an institution, folks. Hi, called my mother. Guess what? 2 people who wanted more than anything to have my truth buried. It was not.
Annie Heche died in a strange car accident, just as she was beginning to expose Ellen DeGeneres, her ex-girlfriend. She was not dead when they retrieved her from the wreckage, according to the toxicological report, and she was sober. She was making an effort to leave the stretcher.
And Heche has died. Her vehicle ran off the road at a high rate of speed and collided into a house in LA last Friday.
The events that transpired in the final weeks of Anne's life, however, are far more terrifying than this footage of her fighting to escape. Ellen's DJ tWitch was told to watch his back by Anne throughout their conversation. 4 months after Anne's deadly vehicle accident, tWitch also passes away. It is said that he committed suicide a few days prior to Christmas. He was discovered dead in a neighboring motel hours after leaving his house one morning without any prior notice or note.
A source told TMZ that tWitch checked into a motel less than a mile away from his home Monday morning. They said motel staffers said that he didn't appear to be in any sort of distress and wasn't visibly upset about anything. And apparently no one heard the gunshot.
What are the chances that 2 individuals close to Ellen would pass away in dubious ways only a few months apart? Well, this frightening interview with Anne Heche that recently came to light gave us some answers at last. She describes how Ellen's obsession with money destroyed her job, prevented her from having any friends, and even attempted to have her committed to a mental health facility. That is not all, though. Anne was also allegedly working on a documentary about some disturbing rituals Hollywood celebs used to stay young. So, were Anne and tWitch aware of Ellen's wicked side? And why did Anne tell tWitch to watch his back in their most recent conversation? Let us discuss his recently rediscovered interview. Now remember that Anne searched for someone who would listen to her for more than 20 years. However, no one wanted to collaborate with Anne because of Ellen's influence in Hollywood. For years, a relentless campaign was launched to portray her as insane or addicted. Anne struggled with substance usage, but it is obvious that she was self-medicating after everything Ellen had to go through. What specifically did Ellen do to her then? Anne eventually revealed Ellen on an episode of her podcast, Better with Anne and Heather, in June 2021, a year before she passed away. Additionally, studios frequently would not hire Anne since it would limit the project's promotion, and this episode aired soon after Anne found out that Ellen had barred her from appearing on the Ellen Talk program. Ellen blacklisted her in Hollywood, tortured her for years, and even plotted with her mother to have her committed to an institution.
Every single truth that I spoke, I was hit more, buried more, or despised more, and then had calculated visions and circulations of systems that spun me up and out of the system that would in any way challenge the fact that she was not telling her own truth, but another's. Why do you think she tried to put me in an institution, folks? Hi, called my mother. Guess what? 2 people who wanted more than anything to have my truth buried. It was not my timing. I did not and could not ask God for what that would be. All I could do was stay on my truth, do what I was doing, and study this thing called love that we tried to bury. And now I am up and out of the ground. And unfortunately, those 2 women could not shut me
down, and added that Ellen had always been preoccupied with money and power, which is why Anne ended their relationship. Anne saw that Ellen could only love herself and that her true purpose in life was money, even though Ellen claimed to have these things.
You like your money because that's why I broke up with you. Do you like sitting on your piles of cash? Because guess what? It gets you exactly where you are. And by the way, baby, it's what you wanted then, and I hope you're liking it now. Cheers. I broke up with her because her goal was to have a lot of money, and mine was to find love, and hers was I want 60 billion. Good luck. Our forks are never going to meet. The further we stay on with this, the further we will be apart.
However, Anne attempted to warn about Ellen to others besides Portia. Concerned that Ellen was abusing him behind the scenes, Anne also contacted Twitch around the release of this podcast episode. During one of her final interviews prior to her passing, Anne stated she had a conversation with someone who smiles for the cameras but is struggling behind the scenes. Fans are certain it was Twitch, even though he did not name names. That is not all, though. Anne added that she told the man to leave right away. It seems insignificant now. Since Anne's narrative is so outrageous that it will change the way you view Ellen, let us start by talking about her. In a sense, Anne and Ellen were the first lesbian power couple. However, behind the scenes, things were not as idyllic as they appeared. Rumor had it that their relationship was extremely poisonous. Furthermore, some even asserted that during their time together, Ellen was abusing Anne. In fact, Anne subsequently admitted that Ellen was very controlling and kept her away from her friends.
And if this answers the question, when I told Ellen that I needed to have friends, she said she did not want to have a girlfriend that needed that.
Things start to get rather eerie at this point. Days after their split, on the 19th of August, 2000, Anne drove out of the blue down Interstate 5, leaving Los Angeles and going toward the San Joaquin Valley. Later, she said that she was instructed to go there, as if she were following instructions to a certain location. She found herself in the extremely isolated community of Cantua Creek in Fresno County. Then, clad just in a bra and shorts, she abandoned her car on the side of a rural road and walked more than a mile without water in the sweltering heat. She eventually became so dehydrated that she called for assistance at the door of a nearby ranch house. Nobody really knows what motivated Anne to do it, and the entire situation was so strange. The tabloids, however, began publishing stories about her allegedly having a mental breakdown following that. Not to mention the rest of the story. People magazine reported in April 2000, just months before her separation from Ellen became public, Anne was hospitalized after having a bad reaction to some medication. Back then, everyone felt Anne's substance usage was the reason she was spinning. Not only was Anne banned from Ellen's talk show, however, things become much more terrible at this point. Nearly a year after the release of that podcast episode, on the 5th of August, 2022, Anne was engaged in an odd car accident in the Mar Vista neighborhood of Los Angeles.
As we can see the helicopter video there of the car in the house, you can see firefighters on the scene there taking that car out from the house. Fox 11 in Los Angeles said the driver went into that house and sparked a fire. Firefighters were on the scene just before 11 a.m. on the West Coast. A car, a Mini Cooper, you can see there, went through the house, causing a massive fire.
The entire incident was very odd. To start, the automobile crashed into an apartment building's garage, inflicting little damage. TMJ even released a video of the incident. Instead of stopping when the person yelled at her to get out of the car, she threw it in reverse and drove away.
I'm out of here.
Then, just before the last collision, Anne's automobile was seen speeding down a peaceful neighborhood street on a doorbell video. Then you hear this loud crash a few seconds later. In that last collision, Anne's vehicle struck a home head-on, smashed through a wall, and became trapped inside for nearly 30 feet. Firefighters needed 45 minutes to get to her after the impact caused a fire that quickly spread. She was severely burned and had inhaled smoke by the time they managed to free her. After being transported to Ronald Reagan UCLA Medical Center, Anne received more critical care at the Grossman Burn Center. This is where it becomes dubious, though. According to several prominent news sources, including The Guardian, Anne's status was stable on the 7th of August, and a full recovery was anticipated. The Guardian also noted the large number of Hollywood celebrities who posted condolence messages on social media. Ellen has not yet made any statement regarding Heche's accident. Anne's condition deteriorated less than 24 hours later. Her health was labeled as severe on the 8th of August, and due to lung damage, she was placed on a ventilator. By the 11th of August, left, doctors said she was unlikely to survive. Anne was pronounced brain dead that same day. Additionally, her family decided to remove her from life support on the 14th of August.
And Heche has been taken off life support a week after her horrific car crash. The 53-year-old actress was declared brain dead on Friday, and she was held on life support in order to donate her organs.
I would say to anybody, go for what you feel truthfully in your life, and you will be rewarded a millionfold.
People soon began to question the official narrative, though. Here's why. Initially, the police said that Anne was acting strangely and appeared to be intoxicated at the time of the collision. However, the official autopsy report from the LA County Medical Examiner coroner made it quite evident that Anne was not under the influence of drugs at the time of the occurrence and that there were no active chemicals in her system. The worst aspect, though, is this unsettling footage that shows Anne being dragged from the collision. She is initially entirely hidden, as if she had already left. Abruptly, she pushes off the cover, sits up, and appears to be attempting to get off the stretcher.
Well, LA City Fire Department, their paramedics pulled that driver from that vehicle. We have tape of that, and then basically had him on a gurney. We weren't sure what the situation was there on his condition, but then as he made his way over to the ambulance, you see it right there. He jumps up out of that gurney. It was horrific, scary for a moment for everybody watching. And then the fire department, well, they had to sedate him and take him to the hospital. Right now, though, the structure is still standing. No other victims inside that home.
Oh, and another unsettling coincidence. A strange vehicle accident claimed the life of another woman who dated Ellen, in case you were unaware. Ellen dated a woman in the 1982nd named Kat Perkoff, and Kat died in a car crash shortly after she and Ellen broke up. Since Ellen's career took off immediately after Kat's death, there is even a strange hypothesis that suggests was her first sacrifice. Additionally, unsettling is the fact that, according to Kat Perkoff's page on Fendergrave.com, the official report of the New Orleans Police Department states that Kat's death was caused by an accidental collision, but rumors at the time pointed to a hit mafia score and a police cover-up. Returning to Anne Heche, just when you thought it could get any stranger, there are now rumors that, according to one source at the time of her passing, Anne was preparing to reveal something about Ellen that goes much beyond her being a terrible girlfriend and a narcissist. Anne was making a documentary about CS trafficking and adrenochrome harvesting in Hollywood. Additionally, Anne became a target as a result of her studies. It has even been suggested that her ordeal in broad daylight served as a reminder to the other members of the large club to keep quiet. What about tWitch, though? Did he come too close to the truth, too? Remember when Diddy nonchalantly threatened her and tWitch with the videos in front of the audience during his appearance on The Ellen Show? At the time, it appeared to be a prank. However, notice tWitch's expression when Diddy brought up the tapes.
And,
All right.
Yo, Ellen, we go so far back. You don't tell these people how far back we go.
I know, but I wear t-shirts. I don't know what that means. Anyway, all right, let's.
I mean,
you hold that.
Okay,
all right.
I keep this take two if the joke didn't work.
No, it's okay.
I don't want no problem.
No, it's okay.
No, hold on. Hey, so cheers.